Me and my friends made a short film purely based on an audio track. No initial script, no initial storyboard, just the audio. If you want to know how it went down, let's talk about it. Sound is probably one of the most essential aspects of a film. Without sound, film does not work as efficient as it should, because sound adds a lot of depth to story, a lot of depth to emotion, a lot of depth to tension and what the characters are doing, whether it's diegetic sound or non-diegetic sound. Normally, the process behind sound design is that, well, first there's obviously the dialogues, which happens during the shooting of the film. Nonetheless, then there is all the sound design, which involves post-production. So at the end of the day, even though sound design begins all the way in pre-production, planning what and how the film will sound, sound creation happens after the film has finished its shooting time. Film is obviously all shot, all planned out, all scripted, and that happens before there is any type of sound design. So the challenge behind what this video is about is that me and my friends, for our college homework, created a short film doing everything backwards. Before a single frame was planned, before any kind of idea of how the story was going to go, we were assigned to create a short film with an audio track. Specifically, there were 4 audio tracks and we had to choose one. In class, actually it was class of sound, musical expression and all that. And we had to choose out of 4 tracks one. We were a total of 4 groups. We had to choose a track and we had to create our own story, our own audiovisual media piece based on that audio track. And of course, it had to be something original, something nice, and something that would be cathartic to the audience. I personally took the mission for my team to listen to all 4 of the audio tracks. They were really short. Well, no, actually, no. There was one like 5 minutes, which had like farm noises. That was crazy. There was also one with car noises, as I said. The other 2 were extracts from movies, and that was pretty interesting. I chose the shorter one actually from the 4 tracks. Was a scene from Requiem for a Dream. I have not watched Requiem for a Dream, don't crucify me. I want to watch it, but it's not available in any streaming service right now, and I want to watch it, but it's not available, and I'm having to have to pirate it or something, because I want to watch it. I'm not promoting piracy here. I want to watch Requiem for a Dream. But anyways, that's not what the point is. The point is that I had to choose a track. I chose that track, and here's the scene from Requiem for a Dream. I'm not putting the whole scene because copyright, bro. Yeah, here's the scene.
Hey, you know something? I always thought you were the most beautiful girl I've seen.
Really?
Ever since I first saw you.
That's nice, Harry. Makes me feel really good.
Thus, you have been able to watch the scene, kind of intimate, kind of romantic, to say the least. I don't really know the full context about it, and when I heard it, I obviously thought about something romantic because the scene is romantic. But I did not know about the intimacy. I did not watch the scene. I just heard the audio, and in order to create my short film with my friends, I told them that I had not watched the scene. I was going to go all from scratch, and that was a great idea, because that way we create our own original story with no influences. And let's talk about the story. The first thoughts that I had were related to a couple of average teens, average, not young adults, and they were at the park. But I also thought about a story related to death and loss and grief. all that. So I thought about this shot from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when Peter... Oh, I think I'm spoiling my own. Shouldn't be spoiling my own. Guys, there's spoilers ahead. If you want to know, there's spoilers in my short film. You guys need to know it, you know. Well, I mean, I'm not spoiling completely, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, I thought about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 shot of Peter Parker at Gwen Stacy's grave, and that shot is really powerful. It's a really well shot, really well shot. No, it's a really well done shot, and it really stands out in the movie for me. The collection of shots where he's at the grave. So I was like, let's do something like this. And I started doing my initial plans, and I am the writer of this one. I'm director and writer. Of course, my friends helped me a lot. I'm not saying they didn't do anything. They did a lot of stuff. Helped me. Basically, shooting in general, it wouldn't be possible without them. Shout out to my boys. The first shot that I storyboarded was that shot from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I also had this idea of making cross-cutting between a scene or a sequence at a park and a sequence in a graveyard. Firstly, that was the idea. The people lying in the park and then fading into the graveyard. One is... You don't have to know the whole details. And from there, I was like, okay, let's write this story, and it ended up being a story that is about our protagonist, Harry. I'm conditioned to the name because of Writing for a Dream and the audio track. So Harry visits an unknown place, and he enters, and then we cross-cut to his mind. We fade in, and we see his memory talking with Marion. Well, all that, and we cross-cut between both scenes, both sequences, until the, I would say, plot twist. You would say plot twist, where we reveal that our character Marion is unalive, and Harry is visiting the graveyard to see his grave. And there's shots and shots and all that. And at the end of the day, at the end of the film, there's silence. That's it. I planned that sequence, and then after writing the script, after finishing the ideas of the shots and all that, I also thought about the production design. It's not that complicated, but I thought about the way they would dress, the way they would not position themselves, but how they would position themselves, how would they be within the frame, which I will talk about in a second, and also what kind of elements would be in the scene to decorate and just foreshadow the end. There are a couple of things I thought. I first thought that at the park we had books. I have a book in Spanish. This project is it's not in Spanish. I have a book in Spanish. It is about a dead girlfriend for deceased. Basically, I was like, oh, let's put it in there. I didn't do it because it wouldn't be seen on camera. So I also put it in the scene of the park a couple of, not oranges, tangerines, because I didn't have oranges, but you know that oranges in cinema, like in The Godfather, represent the upcoming death of a character or just upcoming death. So I put oranges because I was like, let's be cinematographic. But I didn't have oranges, so I just went on to have tangerines. Tangerines are orange. That's all I could have. That's all I had on the fridge. No other subtextual production design that I have. I mean, the clothing it's not subtextual. I have basic clothing for autumn, and that's it. It was not that well thought. I just sent them. I just sent it the actor, the Harry. The images of Andrew Garfield, because I was like, bro, you need to look like this, and yeah, you need to look with a coat and with a hat for the graveyard. That's it, bro. Nonetheless, the last detail was at the day of the shooting. I just went to the store. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy some flowers. Obviously, he's going to bring flowers. That was like the original idea, but I didn't know what kind of flowers I would buy. So I was at a supermarket. They sell cheap flowers there, and I was checking them out. I saw a couple of white flowers, and I was like, it's nice. White flowers, they represent grief. That's what I thought, and I bought them. That's the story of production design. Then about the shot composition thing that I wanted to tell you about. Every frame in the film, like, well, not every frame. So obviously not every frame because it would be ass. But like the parts where they are at the park together, like the two of them laying down, and you see their silhouette, like my silhouette. See them, he's lying here, he has the silhouette that looks like just one person. And when you fade and cross cut to shots of Harry alone by himself in the graveyard, it's almost the same shape and the same position of silhouette of the human body, just to symbolize a little bit how they are dead. Like, no, they are not dead, like just Marion's dead, not like two of them. They're not like both Marion, you know. Yeah, so just Harry remains. She's dead. She's inside here in his heart, and that's kind of writing process as a whole. I think there's nothing else to mention aside from all the idea that they would be laying in the park, and the fade would transition to Harry watching the grave, and the length of the grave would be the same length as their bodies lying on the park. You can see it like in the short film, hopefully. And well, finally, let's talk about what's most important, and that's the shoot. Well, no, it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the shot, but the second most important thing is how the shooting went down. We already know that it went successfully because there's a short film in it. Yeah, but first thing I did was contact my friend who's an actress that studies at the same college as I do. And I was like, hey, I need an actress, and I also need an actor. Can you be my project? And you told anybody to be in there? He's like, yeah, sure. I also got these classmates, and she shows it to me like, oh, this guy looks more like Andrew Garfield. Let's use him. And that's how I ended up having my actors. I sent them the script one day before shooting because I am such a terrible filmmaker. Now, because I got the actors like one day before, and it was difficult. Like it was difficult to coordinate because they have exams. We had a like personal project shootings. This shooting happened before doing personal project shootings that I talk about on my first video, and that happened. You know, we shot, and we went to the park next to our college, which is, I'm not going to tell you because you're going to kidnap me, bro. No, I'm not going to dox me. And we went to the park, and well, it was kind of a mess a little bit because I was dueling myself. I was like, should we do master shots, which for those who don't know means to shoot everything like no, like, what do I explain it? Like shooting all the action, all the dialogue in one shot, like fluidly everything, and then yeah, just like that, and having that, and then shooting individual shots of the character talking, but having that master shot that you can use anytime and just cut here, insert, cut here, insert. You know, I don't know how to explain it well, but I think you can Google it if you don't know what it means. So yeah, I was like, should I do master shots? I was like, do the actors know? I asked them, do you guys know enough the script? And they're like, oh, not really. So I was like, okay, let's do individual shots for every single part. Let's let them do, yeah, and that involved a problem because individual shots took time to get the frame. We were like, okay, yes, to get the actors, to get the soundtrack, the audio track sounding, and it was a little bit of a mess. It didn't turn out bad. We finished in like an hour, 1 hour and a half, which is like crazy. Which is like a crazy time. something so small, but at the end of the day, it was not that well planned. I learned that I need to plan it a little bit better. And we had issues with ISO, or I don't know how it's said in English. I said ISO. I don't know if it's ISO, sensibility of the camera, because here in Spain, for whatever reason, sun go down at like 5 p.m. and we're like, oh my god, and we're losing light. As the movie progressed, we were losing light, and it was terrible because we didn't like open diaphragm. How do you say it in English? Diaphragm? Is it diaphragma? I don't know. And we didn't modify the ISO, so it just looked dark, and there was a lot of texture, a lot of grain. That was not good. That was not good, and it coincidentally happened at the film, the last shot that we had to film a day, which is just the actors Marion smiling, like it was all dark, and they randomly run on a light, so all the light was hitting on face. I was like, oh my god, what are we going to do? We shot it anyway. I was like, you know what, we're gonna fix it post-production, and thankfully we were able to do that. Well, like, it's obvious that the ISO is terrible, but it still looks decent, so that's what matters. Of course, it's obvious that there are more quality shots than others in terms of camera, but I think it's not that bad. We were 2 days of shooting. After the park, we went the next week to a graveyard, and it was me and the director of photography who went there, and we I was there in college, and the actor comes down, because in the graveyard it's just the actor, not the actors, and the actor just comes down and he's like, what's up, where are the other guys? And I'm like, they could not come to the college, we will see them at the graveyard. It was just me and the actor going on the bus. We're like, oh yeah, cool. We're like an hour away, so we're socializing, and we got there eventually, thankfully, after an hour of trip. And we met there with photography director. The other guys unfortunately couldn't make it because they had some things to do. Obviously, everybody has things to do in terms of their own personal projects. But we were there and we scouted a little bit. The graveyard was beautiful, low-key beautiful. So it was great for shooting. You were like, oh my god, it's a great place to shoot. And there was this hallway, which is the one we used, which had bushes on both sides. It created an amazing initial shot for the film. In general, the graveyard was really good looking, and we shot really fast. We kind of took like 40 minutes or an hour, mostly because we were experimenting. There was no dialogue. We just like shot one type of shot, and we were like, oh, maybe we can do this. This can work out a little bit better. And we framed. We looked for good graves to position ourselves, and yeah. Funny story about filming in a graveyard is that I told my teacher of sound, I was like, hey, me and my boys want to shoot at a graveyard, but I think it's kind of immoral, unethical, and illegal. Will we get arrested, or we should get a permission, town hall or something? And he's like, you're not going to get permission, bro. Just go shoot. If they tell you that it's bad, just stop. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, we're tourists or whatever. We're taking pictures. And that's it. We went. I was like, okay, I'll follow the advice. I was kind of worried that they were not going to let us in, or that anything would happen. Fortunately, at first there was nobody at the graveyard to like tell us anything. So we're like, okay, let's shoot. We paid our dues to it's kind of disrespectful in a way. So we kind of left a little bit of flowers to the graves because we felt kind of bad. Shooting there was like, but the graveyard was really beautiful and it had a really good energy, so like it wasn't a bad thing, And we shot all the shots we had to do, and when we ended, they literally came in at the last shot. Like, security guards were like, hey, what are you doing, guys? We're taking pictures. And we were like, yeah, we're just yeah. And they're like, it's not bad that you do it, it's not illegal. You just go to the office asking for permission, and they'll surely tell you yes, just for them to know. And we're like, okay, cool. So lastly, well, after that was done, everybody went to their houses, and then post-production came to place. It was kind of easy, just had to match the cuts with the color, which I wanted it to be like a color green zone, a little bit coldish, dreamy. I don't know how to explain it. Warm, coldish. I just wanted it to look good, and it looked good on green, so it looked good. A little bit dark as well, shadows, also shiny. I don't know how to explain the color. I just did it for it to look good, and basically to transmit like not anything that is happiness, literally everything the contrary, because that's the opposite. Because short film is not happy, it's sad. But yeah. So if you want to look how it looks, take a look. Here is final result. The film is called Make Things Alright. It's not called Wrecking for a Dream. Why would it be called Wrecking for a Dream? It's Make Things Alright. It's not misspelled. Okay, it's Make Things All Right. Separate words. Because I was initially a mistake, but then I was like, you know what? It's not a mistake. It was like an emphasis on the all. It's not all right. It's all, and it's like make things, all the things, all make things. Like the character says in a part, somebody like you could really make things all right for me. I took it for them. I took the dialogue from there, and to me, it's like somebody like you who is dead. Like in the context of the scene is somebody like you who is dead. Make everything, all things, everything that is happening in my life right now because you're dead. If you were alive, you can make them all right. So here's the film.
You know something.
I'm kidding. There's no film. I baited you guys. No, there is film. There's film. You can go watch it on my website. I'm not going to put it here because the audio track is essential. You have seen some of the shots before the video, but you want to watch it, go watch it on my website where it's copyright free because I don't gain money from my website. So yeah, go watch it on my website because YouTube would take down the video if I use the track from Wrecking for a Dream. So go watch it if you want to watch it. And yeah, it's a really special project for me, my first project directing in my college. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. I hope you guys take a look at it, and if you like it, hopefully you comment at last, because I haven't gotten any comments on my video. This is my third video. If you didn't know, I'm starting my career as a YouTuber because I just want to share my content and my journey as an aspiring filmmaker. So I think I don't have anything more to say. I will continue to update my life as a filmmaking student, which is this kind of video one of the funniest things that I can do. I am next to do more projects. I have well, I'm not going to spoil them, but you can expect more things. Go follow me on my social media on Instagram and on Letterboxd. And I don't know what else to say. Go watch short film, subscribe, comment, go to my website and watch my short film, and go to my website and watch Make Things Alright. There's nothing else to say. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your day. I am an aspiring filmmaker, and I guess I'll see you in the movies.